Now, Dr. Geeta Srinivas will be talking about femtosecond laser. She had around 10 years of experience in the dealing with femtosecond lasers. Now, over to Dr. Geeta. She is a consultant in Chaitanya Eye Hospital.
I would like to thank KPOS for giving me this opportunity. My talk is FemtoFlap, a game changer. No financial interest. And overview of LASIK. LASIK has come a long way since its inception 30 years ago, and it remains preferred method of choice for most refractive surgeons. While excimer laser and microkeratome are certainly key in LASIK development, femtosecond laser is a game changer that underpins the contemporary gold standard. FDA approved Intralase in 2001. These are the femtosecond laser systems used in refractive surgery. And coming to the technology, this system uses AG laser operating in the infrared wavelength of about 1053 nanomicrons. It works by producing photodisruption or photoionization. In corneal tissue, it creates adjacent areas of microcavitation, leading to separation of tissue at the molecular level at a specific depth in the cornea. This video shows the This is an animation showing the femto laser producing raster pattern in the corneal stromal layer and separating the cornea. I'm confining to the LASIK only. Even though this is the technology used in SMILE, and these flaps are used for keratoconus treatments and keratoplasties. Then coming to the LASIK is done. LASIK flap is created either by femto laser or by microkeratome. The microkeratome creates meniscus flaps which are thicker peripherally and thinner centrally, whereas femtosecond creates flat planar flaps which are thin and even. With old microkeratomes, there are so many complications like incomplete flaps, buttonholes, and free caps. There were so many advances in microkeratomes. Nowadays, all these complications are minimal with microkeratomes, but still there is some limitations with microkeratome, especially with flat corneas and steep corneas. Where femtosecond LASIK is ideal. And coming to the small sunken orbits, where the room is very minimal, and I prefer femto LASIK rather than blade, because we can keep the suction ring directly on blade motors like that to run on the cornea. It can You see the video taken in our OT. This is the docking is completed. Now you see the raster pattern. Just the laser separates the lamellar fibers. And there is nothing else is running, and it doesn't require much room. Coming to the hinge position flexibility, femto laser can customize the hinge position either nasally, superiorly, or temporally. It's beneficial in certain patients with the rule astigmatism, where deeper ablation required peripherally at 3 and 9 o'clock will benefit from the superior hinge, and dry eye patients benefit from nasal or temporal hinge due to decreased severing of afferent nerve trunks, and hyperopic patients will benefit from the temporal hinge position due to nasal angle kappa. Coming to the incidence of epithelial growth, it's more with the microkeratome when compared to femtolase. This is due to difference in flap morphology at the edge. Microkeratome flap has a flatter entrance angle and shallower transition angle, leading to epithelial ingrowth, whereas femtosecond system capable of creating a beautiful bevel in flap edge, allowing the flap to stuck into position, which may inhibit the passage of epithelial cells into the interface. And IFS creates a planar flaps at the molecular level at a specific plane. So postoperatively, these flaps are strongly adherent due to severe stromal bed reaction, thereby lessen the incidence of slippage, whereas the meniscus flaps are capable of slippage with less impact. Variability in flap thickness is an extremely controversial topic. In general, there is a tighter standard deviation on flap thickness with the femtosecond laser versus mechanical microkeratome. Mechanical microkeratemes create flaps with variability of 14 microns, whereas femtosecond laser flaps with a standard deviation of 5 microns. The ability of femtosecond laser in making constant the same thickness flaps creates a huge safety and useful in planning the ablation, especially in borderline corneas. A word about the subbauman's keratomyelitis. The flap created is between the 90 to 110 microns, and it against the normal flap of LASIK from 120 to 160 microns. The femtosecond lasers are better for creating thin flaps than blade. The advantages of SBK is thinner flaps conserve tissue in the stromal bed, less incidence of ectasias and less incidence of regression due to these thinner flaps. The stromal bed preservation will be there and cut fewer corneal nerves, thereby less incidence of dry eye. Coming to the flap diameter and hinge width, mechanical microkeratomes offer adjustable parameters to alter flap diameter depending on the suction ring size, suction ring thickness, and stop settings and changeable width heads are there. Even though variability in flap diameter and hinge width is largely out of surgeon's control, determined primarily by the corneal curvature and white to white measurement. In general, flap diameters and hinge widths are smaller on flat large corneas and larger on steep narrow corneas. A femtosecond laser allows the surgeon to precisely control both the flap diameter and the hinge width. This allows for customization of flap sizes for different corneal sizes as well as different refractive errors, where ablation patterns may extend further peripherally and nasally, example for hyperopes and in with the rule astigmatism cases. This is a femtosecond laser patient data entry form. You see that there is depth, diameter, and bed energies. May not be clear, I think. So all these can be side cut energy and side cut angle can be adjusted depending on the patient's corneal curvature and thickness and diameter. Femtosecond lasers are capable to create elliptical flaps. This helps to push the hinge peripherally, thus obtaining large stromal bed useful for hyperopes and with astigmatic patients. Unfortunately, with blade, we have no way of accomplishing this. Improved visual outcomes, there are two randomized, so many studies are there, but what I is with femtol laser flaps, there is a fewer higher order aberrations and spherical aberrations, suggesting improved quality of vision. Coming to the demerits of femtosecond flap, transient light sensitivity, diffuse lamellar keratitis, OBL, corneal haze, rainbow glare, these are very rarely seen, and due to most of these are due to inappropriate energy levels. This can be prevented with certain precautions. These are not due to the technology, but these are due to the energy level maintenance problems, and this is the other demerit is it's a costly procedure and steep learning curve. This is the treatment history, where with femtosecond lasers we can patient we adjusted depth of 110 microns, diameter of 9, and bed energy 0.55, like that. You take all these parameters depending on that patient's eye. Yes, each eye is as individual as a fingerprint, and the ability to precisely adjust so many features means it is safer procedure with a significantly better outcome. And these are the patients just we discussed. This is the first post-op day of PRK, and this is the first post-op day of femtolasic patients. They are happy eyes. I don't know, so many discussion has gone with the PRK, but I'm always surprised about the PRK. We scrape the cornea up to 7 millimeters, but in our OP, if there is a slight scar just for the nail injury, the patients are very anxious. They feel like that something has happened, so for their child. While I am doing that PRK, I to feel little bit what I am doing. Why I am this taking out the nice glistening tissue. That's my personal feeling. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, madam. Sir, over to you, sir. Sri Ganesh, sir. Madam is talking against this PRK. What is your
Basically,
what is your take on that one, sir?
basically it is not that this is better or that is better. So what I tell all my friends is, it depends upon what equipment you have and what you are good at. Some of them may not be very good at handling flaps. For them, PRK may be good. For the general ophthalmologist who is doing refractive surgery once in 2 weeks, then he is more comfortable doing PRK. He may not have the necessary skills to do a femtolasic or to do smile. And some may not have the equipment and they do phakic IOLs and give good results. So finally, the patient should be comfortable. They have to have a good result. They have to get rid of the refractive error. So whatever works best in your hands, you can do it.
Sir, it is not, I am against PRK, but when
course,
the cornea is
comfort-wise.
thin, there is no other way. Yeah, comfort-wise we
Comfort-wise,
should.
See,
Yeah,
it's
I
not
want to
only
give
cornea
preference to
thin,
comfort also.
there are other indications also. If you have a basement membrane dystrophy or recurrent epithelial erosions, then of course PRK will be my first choice. So
And
it depends
yesterday-
upon the patient. It depends upon the patient, and then you will have to assess and select the procedure depending upon the patient. And I think that should be the final thing. What the surgeon is comfortable about giving the best results. Some of them are not comfortable doing smile, and they struggle. They may not find the lenticule. They may not dissect the lenticule. If they leave back lenticule tissue, then that is worse than doing a PRK. So my whole thought process is, do the procedure which is safest in your hands for the patient and which gives him the best result. And then you are also happy and the patient is happy. So for me,
Yes.
smile works very well. My patients are very happy on day one. So that is what I do. Of course, I do all procedures depending upon what the patient is suitable for.
Yesterday, I did femtolasic for mother, young mother. She immediately asked me, "Shall I see the phone? Shall I see the screen? Shall I see the TV?" Immediately, first question she asked me. That day itself, she wants to see all these things. So I'm lucky enough that I did femto on her.
Madam, our counseling has to be bring down the expectations to a realistic level. That is the basic purpose of the counseling. Anyway, thank you, sir.
And over deliver. That should be the mantra. Under promise and over deliver. Then
Right, sir.
patient is happy, you are happy.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for your kind participation in APOS. Thank you, Nandakishore, sir, Sri Ganesh, sir. I wish to conclude the session, and Ravi Kiran, you can take over now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very
you
much.
very much.
Thank you, all the speakers.